Okay. Okay, you're done reading the memory card. Coping mechanisms for actually being alone, and you can't go out. That wasn't part of the title, but... Coping mechanisms for actually being alone. As you can remember, I'm under quarantine, and will be for like another week or so. So this is what I used to do growing up, because this is basically how I grew up, okay? A little bit of background. I grew up in Taiwan. My family, being very nice and generous, didn't make me go to cram school after school. But I didn't make friends, I didn't really make connections, went home after school, did homework, and then watched TV. What were friends? So, to compensate for that, I did stuff, and I jogged my memory to remember what the fuck I did as a kid growing up. Here's some things, well, okay, I didn't grow up alone, I had my sister, but anyway. Stuff that I did to cope, being alone. Alright, so the first one, just gonna dive into it. I shit you not. That's probably what got me into storytelling in the first place, because you're on your own, you got your sister, you don't have anybody else. What you gonna do? Tell stories. My sister and I would engage in verbal role-playing. We watched shows like Teen Titans, Naruto. I hate saying it with an American accent. Naruto. Anyway, we watched anime growing up because it makes sense. Taiwan is just right under Japan and we have such a long history. But we would reenact episodes that we watched. We came up with characters and retold episodes with our characters in them. Or we would just come up with episodes of our own and just tell stories like that. But it did mean that I had a somewhat diverse range of imaginary friends I could just draw on, and later on, as I got older, they would actually be people, like, full-on in my head that I would kind of just talk to, just process the day, process what happened, and just to, like, plain on not feel alone. I've definitely done the thing where I'm in my apartment doing something and I'll, like, have a whole-ass conversation in my head, or I'll talk out loud to myself, but not myself, my imaginary friend. We're not going to go into who these people are because that's too personal and we're not that close. It is a possible way to kind of trick your mindset out of loneliness. Yes, it doesn't compare to real people. And yeah, if you did it the way that I did growing up, you're probably going to develop issues with actually forming connections with people and then second guess yourself. But those are problems you can fix later on, provided that you didn't grow up exactly like the way I did, so you're not going to have those issues anyway. But it does help. I don't know the science behind it, but I do know that it mostly was what kept me, I think, sane and eager to connect with people, because I would just essentially practice connecting with people in my head that way. And it worked. It doesn't even have to be perfect. You're just a person, and that in itself is enough. And you can come up with another person just to be a person with, and I think that's pretty neat. So, imaginary friends, don't overthink it. I wrote dancing, exercise, and chores. I don't know why I had to squint at the paper. I knew what I was reading, but I had to, like, process it for some reason. Dancing is self-explanatory. Just put on some fucking dance jams and just move around to it. You've all seen movies where you have, like, the peppy teenage protagonist jump around in their bedroom dancing to something like, I don't know, popular at the time. My point of reference for movies is very weird because I actually haven't seen a lot of movies, especially coming-of-age teenage movies, but they're so on the forefront of popular consciousness that it's definitely something that I'm aware of. Anyway, dance. It's fun. It gets your body moving. Exercise. Gets your body moving. May or may not be fun. but also gets your body moving. I've often referred to exercising as brain shut the fuck up time, and it really applies. I don't know how many times I've said it, that exercise does not always need to be about appearances, vanity, and there's like a whole other thing wrapped up in that, but getting your body moving, even in a small way, don't do crazy shit like push-ups and sit-ups. They are harder than people give credit for. You need a good core, and you need good arm muscles to be able to do like a solid and healthy push-up. I don't know why they made us do it so many times in elementary school when our cores are the weakest they've been when we were that young. I don't know. But anyway, something simple, just to get your body moving. Brain shut the fuck up time. The third one was chores. Brain shut the fuck up time gets your body moving, and you can put on music, so you can also dance, and has the bonus of like having you reacquaint and tidy up your space. It's re-owning your space. I grew up in a very messy home, and now in my apartment in the States, it's a fucking gift to be able to clean and own your own space. I cannot emphasize that enough. You don't know how good it is to be able to clean your own space when you don't own your space and you can't clean it. Don't take that for granted. So yeah, it's very straightforward. Ways to keep sane during quarantine: move. Dance, exercise, chores, anything just to get your body moving, get yourself out of like a routine, especially if you're used to sitting in front of a desktop or in front of your laptop playing video games, watching TV, whatever. Anything to get your body moving. Breaks the routine a little bit, refreshes your mind, and also, yeah, jogs your muscles a little. Jogging is usually for memory, if it's not referring to the actual act of jogging, so I really don't know why I said jogging muscles. We're gonna move on. I was more thinking along the lines of, I follow this Instagram page called Ekekekekek because it's referring to the chatting noise that cats make when they want to murder something and they can't do it, so they're just frustrated as fuck. It is the cutest noise known to man, and my sister has often said, unprompted and out of nowhere, imagine that you wake up to the weight of your cat on your chest, and the cat is just looking at you with its eyes, and out of nowhere it just makes the noise at you. It wants to murder. I think that's beautiful. Right now, looking outside the window, there's a fucking pigeon just walking down a roof across the hotel. I fucking love pigeons. If you know me, I cannot state enough how much I love pigeons, how much I love cats. But yeah, no, looking out your window. No one says you can't. You can still see people coming and going. There's still sunrises and sunsets. There might be snow, depending on what part of the world that you're at. There might just be clear skies, depending on what part of the world that you're at. There might be a lot of stars, which is amazing, depending on what part of the world that you're in. But it breaks the monotony and also gives your eyes a break. I don't know how much of that is actually backed by science, but if you're staring at your screen for several hours a day, like I do, look outside. Let your eyes rest a little bit. Adjust yourself to natural lighting and the fact that you do exist in a world. And the world may be a bit fucked, but it's pretty neat sometimes. The pigeon is just walking across the pigeon just walking right now. It's not actually a pigeon, it's a dove, and doves are, and all pigeons are part of the dove family, actually, and that's just, oh, it's so cute. See that, yeah, I grew up spending a lot of time in my head. My acting teachers will not hesitate to tell me that I spend a lot of time in my head. Can't spend it with anybody else, and the people that I spend it with are in my head, so... But there's really... all of these advices are very limited in their effectiveness on a day-to-day basis. keeping in mind that right now I'm quarantining in a hotel for only 14 days. If you are stateside, I think, for most of the people that I know that would watch this video, like, you're either working the way that you would on a regular basis, or you are kind of self-isolating. Some of my friends that I know are doing that, and it's fucking hard, and I don't know, I feel that. Not to mention, I'm very lucky that I don't really deal with other things when I'm stateside. So all of this advice, mileage will vary. I nearly said Mary. Mileage will vary. But I got through growing up alone as a kid, and hopefully that advice helps someone who's basically going through a way worse version of what I had to deal with as a kid. But aside from that, hope that helps. I still don't know where my fucking sightline is. I wavered, but it's alright. That's been my tips and tricks and advice on how to cope with being alone. This is a postscript. As I'm editing this video, I keep on, like, going over these bits that say I didn't have any friends growing up. Alright, it's an exaggeration, but, like, I really did have, like, one or two people that more or less tolerated the fact that I was really fucking weird. I was more American than I was weird, and that's, like, just more of a cultural clash thing. Anyway, my point is, I did have friends. I don't know why I felt, like, a need to clarify that, but the handful of people that, did welcome me into their friend circle, I do cherish that. Don't get me wrong. I think it's partially a major reason why I'm not so fucking weird around people is because I did have to interact with people and, like, kind of, you know, be a person. But I'm dead exhausted right now, and I still need to edit this video at the time of this this amendment, so... But you get my point, right? If not, whatever.